Hi. So it is May 31st, 2024. It's a Friday. It's about 10 o'clock p.m. I just got done speaking at Marlboro New Life AA meeting. It was the 45th anniversary of that meeting, and I stood in for Maureen, who was supposed to be the speaker, but she couldn't make it tonight. So they called me in a pinch, and I was able to be an anniversary speaker. So that was really cool. It was a tough crowd, but it was still really fun. I got to see some good people. I wanted to start kind of documenting my journey with possible pregnancy and having a baby. Yeah, I'm really nervous about it, but you know what? I'm gonna get over it because, this is for me. I might not ever show anybody these videos, but I want to be able to have documentation of it for myself. So, we're gonna see how it goes. Just on my, Google Pixel phone, no special camera. I'm just gonna start uploading it to my YouTube channel and see where it takes me. So, I guess the latest update is I'm about to be 33 this September, so in a couple months I will turn 33. I've been with Zach for almost 4 years. In September it'll be 4 years. And I kind of figured that my timeline is ready to have a baby. All of a sudden I'm like, wow, I'm about to be 33. And I kind of have this idea in my head that like 35 is a geriatric pregnancy, and I would love to have like at least my first baby before that. Just to have like the best chance of being able to conceive, and like if I want one or even two more kids, I want to be able to still possibly do that. So if I start any later than like 33 or 34, I feel like it's going to be much harder to have like 2 or 3 kids. So despite kind of wanting that picture and vision of first moving out and having my own house and like then getting married and then having kids, it looks like I kind of have to reverse all of that since the housing market's crazy right now. There's no way that I can afford to move out. Me and Zach cannot afford to move out right now. We don't really want an apartment because they're also wicked expensive, and it just kind of seems counterintuitive for saving for a house. So, we're in the finished basement at my mom's, and we've been here for a few years now. It's working out pretty well. Getting more independence from my mom too, kind of like setting more boundaries as we go along. Just kind of separating responsibilities, and we're kind of able to see a vision for ourselves where we could maybe start to have a family and have a baby, where we'd be able to navigate having our own space and having our own family while also co-living with my mom, and but not being so enmeshed, like, if that makes sense, kind of like continuing to establish boundaries where like we would have our own family down here, and like we would be living separately from her even though we're in the same house, and kind of like making sure that when she was like integrating into our kind of like family unit with our kid, that it would be kind of more as if we weren't living together, if that makes sense. Like she'd be invited, or like we wouldn't expect her to like take care of the kid all the time. Like it would be more of like a formal boundary, where as if we were living in like 2 separate houses, as opposed to just like living downstairs from her, just in order to like keep that relationship really healthy between me, Zach, and the baby, and then her. So been having those initial conversations with Zach, brought it up with Zach around like December, so about like 6 months ago, I originally kind of it hit me that like, whoa, all of a sudden like my timeline was upon me and like my biological clock was ticking and like I did all this math in my head and I was like, oh my God, like I might want to be having a baby soon. So I kind of like brought it up to Zach. We'd never really had like solid conversations about it before. And, you know, in the first couple of years we were dating, we were both kind of ambivalent about kids, but he was definitely more ambivalent than me, I think. I kind of knew at that point that I'd probably want kids, but still kind of open. And he was more like reticent about marriage because he'd never seen it work in his family. And he was kind of ambivalent about kids. And so we didn't talk about it for a couple of years. And fast forward, like we've almost been dating for 4 years. And like, you know, it's at the point where it's like, all right, like, do you want to do this? And I was kind of surprised that he was like down. He was like down to start trying for a kid at, you know, the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, and willing to kind of like sacrifice our original visions of kind of like, you know, moving out first, then kids, possibly marriage or not. And we're kind of like willing to reverse that and like have a kid before any of that. So that was a really big deal. Yeah, that was a really big deal when I was really, really excited that he said yes, he was willing to start trying at the end of this year. I was like, wow. I wasn't expecting him to be so sure of it and so excited. So that was like so exciting. And I told my sponsor first. I told the Daisy first, and I was really excited. And I told my auntie Ray, talked to her about it, and I actually told my mom a few weeks ago, and she was like excited for sure, but then she was like, I'm not watching the baby 5 days a week, you know. I don't have the patience for that. Too old. I was like, okay, but will you at least do 2 days a week? She was like, yeah. But it was funny. So talked to my mom a little about it, and I told Ellen, Zach's dad's wife. She was over the moon that we might start to try at the end of this year. So very excited. I've been like listening to birth podcasts and watching birth stories, YouTube videos like nonstop. Trying to get myself like prepared and like knowledgeable about birth and pregnancy and having a little baby and all of that. Oh, and I guess I should say like my timeline too is that like I would be finishing my pre-licensure requirements right before like possibly having a baby. So I don't want to start trying until November of this year because that would put me at July, like being due in July 2025. And in July 2025 is when I'm anticipated to be done with my pre-licensure hours, be able to apply for my LMHC and licensure. So that would be great. Like if I could get my hours done before having a baby and have like that whole maternity leave and pregnancy and a child interrupt the kind of path that I'm on to licensure. So that's why I kind of have that timing in my head of starting to try in this November, the earliest. That being said, I do have a gynecologist appointment in July, and I have Nexplanon in my arm as birth control. I had it in for 5 years. Then we had to switch it out, and I switched it out right away. And now I've had it in for about 2 years, the second one. So that's what I've been using for birth control. And I'm going to check with her to see if she thinks I should take it out at that time in July to like kind of regulate my cycle or something. I'm not sure. Before we start trying, or if she thinks that I should like keep it in until like we're sure we are ready. Like more like take it out in like October or November. So yeah, that's kind of like the update there. And I will definitely keep everybody posted on kind of developments. And yeah, so I'm really excited, and I definitely just want to keep a kind of even just personal diary of all of the developments of what my thoughts are and my feelings, because I forget really easily what it was like, a day or a week or a month or a year ago. Like what my thoughts were, what I was thinking, and I just think this would be a really cool way to preserve some of that development. So I'm excited.